Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So sorry it's been so long since I've posted. I wanted to come on here today to talk about the title of the video. Dating after breast cancer is hard. And I don't even know where to begin. So I'm coming to you from a hotel room. I'm currently in Australia, and I have a lot of free time on my hands. I will be updating my blog shortly about my trip here and why am I even in Australia at this time. But one of the wonderful things I've been able to do in Australia is kind of like fall in love with dating. So a little bit about me. I was born and raised in the States, and majority of my dating experience until like early 20s was in the States, just by default. And I went abroad for a little bit in my 20s, and it was just like a whole new world of dating. And perhaps, I don't know if it's why dating in the States for me is a bit of a challenge, but it just feels like a bit of a struggle. And every single time I go overseas, it's like it's easier. It's not easy, but it's easier. And I'm meeting so many cool people and all of this stuff. So, fast forward, I'm in Australia and I've gone on like 3 dates with 3 different people. And I always wonder, like, while they're opening up to me and sharing really personal things about themselves on the first date, when do I open up and share about my breast cancer? When do I disclose my health history? And I used to, long ago, like when I first got diagnosed, I used to put it on my dating profile. And then something about that just felt really like, it's just such a personal thing for me, at least. And my journey was very, very, very long. And I'm still very much kind of in it. I'm still on medicine. That I was just like, I don't want to have any just Joe Blow scrolling through my profile and to see such an intimate like thing. So I took it off. I took it off and I don't share. And also, too, for the longest time after being diagnosed with breast cancer, I was flat. I had multiple surgeries to go flat on both sides, and I thought that's how I was going to stay. However, things change. I have gotten reconstructive surgery. I had my most recent surgery 2-ish months ago, maybe 3 at this point. And that brings me to surgery number 5 after cancer. And so all of this stuff, right? Like multiple surgeries, my body does not look the same. I am missing body parts. I have wonderful scars from being cut and from drains and from all of this stuff. And it's like, well, when do I disclose that to a potential partner, to someone that I'm interested in? And I remember, I'm going to talk about the first date that I went on here in Australia, because it was probably the first time in a long time that I was like, this dating thing isn't so bad. And so I ended up meeting a guy in Melbourne. I've been spending most of my time in Australia between Melbourne and Sydney. So I was in Melbourne, and he suggested we meet at this really cute bar. I wasn't drinking at the time, because of many reasons, but I was on antibiotics, which was the primary reason. And this bar had non-alcoholic wine. And so we met up and we had like just like great conversation. It was easy to talk to him. He was taller than me, which is not a requirement, but always nice when it happens. I'm 6 feet tall. And so he worked in mental health, all of these great things. And then the conversation of children came up. And he was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to being a dad. And he was like, I asked him, I said, what was your timeline? Because I'm currently on medication that I cannot get pregnant on, and I will be on it as of right now until the age of 41 for 10 years. So I got diagnosed with breast cancer at 30. I started this medication at 31. It's a 10-year medication. Now, a lot of people do and can stop taking this medication for, I think, a year and a half, a year to 2 years to try and get pregnant. But this would also mean that you have some sort of partner to try and get pregnant with and I don't. I'm single. And so, anywho, he's talking about wanting to be a dad, and he lives, or he's from a different part in Australia. So he's like, he eventually wants to move back to his hometown and all of this stuff. And I'm hearing him talk, and I'm just like, when do I share? Like, that's really wonderful, but I technically can't have children for another 5+ years. And I did mention a little bit because this particular date did open up about some stuff about his past. So I was like, okay, I can mention. And I believe I said, without going into too much detail, like, I don't know my fertility. Like, I don't know if I could have children, because every time a date brings up children, especially on the first date, I always bring up adoption. Are you open to adoption? And I cannot tell you how many men specifically are like no one has ever asked them that before. And I'm kind of like, that's the first thing that comes through my mind is, if you want to have a child, are you open to adopting one? Like, perhaps you have fertility issues. I have fertility issues. We don't know if we're going to be able to get pregnant naturally or without assistance. Is adoption an option? And every time I do it, it's like deer in the headlights. And this guy as well, he admits, he goes, no one has ever asked me that. And I'm like, I think this is something to talk about or think about, if children are so at the forefront of your mind that you would bring it up on the first date. But anywho, I didn't end up telling him my history. He kind of guessed. He kind of goes, oh, is your health, like, is it a health related reason why you don't know if you could get pregnant? And I said yes. And we kind of left it at that, because it's a first date, dude. I just met you. And I went on, and like, the date ended. It ended really well. It was a great first date to have in a foreign country. And then I went on to go to 2 more dates with 2 different people. And it never came up once in conversation on these dates. And so I was just kind of like putting this video out there. And how do the women, the people who've been diagnosed with breast cancer, go about sharing it without sharing too much details, without it being like a trauma dump of all of the medical trauma that you've been through, and navigating being single in the dating world. Like, it's hard enough being single. Prior to cancer, dating in my 20s was a shit show. And so I'm like, now I have this added layer of self-consciousness, perhaps. And please ignore the nails. I need to get my nails done, but that's gonna have to wait. But like, an added layer of self-consciousness of like, with my body and with opening up and with sharing. And this has always been something that I have worked on, or in recent years realized that I do need to work on, being a bit more open and vulnerable, especially with people that I want in my life. And it's been brought up in therapy as well, that I have, or I'm able to open up more with women in friendship situations than I've ever been able to open up with a partner. And it's something that I'm mindful of. But anywho, this video is just to go out there and say, dating after breast cancer is hard for me. Perhaps it was easy for you. If it is easy for you, please give me your tips and your tricks and what you do and how you navigate it, especially in the world of online dating, which I feel is like so superficial for many reasons. And I am not a superficial person. Like, I think every single guy that has ever made it like to the boyfriend category, I initially didn't find attractive. And that's actually going to be a whole nother video on like my sexuality and how I identify and all that stuff. But none of them I found attractive initially. And so when that's the case, when you're like scrolling on an app and it's just like 5 pictures and like less than 200 words, it's like, how do you navigate or get a feel of people? I'm definitely kind of like an in-person person, and I would love to meet someone that way. But whether it's the pandemic, whether it's jobs, like, it's just a bit hard to meet organically, I feel, in this day and age. And I've looked into like meetup groups and running groups that are all the rage. These knees, these knees do not like me. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. That's the video I wanted to put out today. Please share your tips and tricks below. Any suggestions? How do you navigate disclosing your cancer history with a potential partner? Have you had to or felt forced to, or all of that jazz? Because I am still very much learning and navigating on this journey of dating in my 30s, especially. Thank you all for watching. I hope to put out more videos more frequently, and see you guys next time.